What's up, Knicks Nation? Can the great coach Mike Brown work with Jalen Brunson, help him elevate his game to an MVP level? We will talk about that today. Malik Beasley was recently cleared by the FBI for all alleged wrongdoings in terms of gambling on games and prop bets. He now is probably the hottest commodity on the free agent market. Should the Knicks go after Malik Beasley? We're going to talk about that. Dante DiVincenzo, there's been some talks of reuniting him with the rest of the Nova boys. We discussed this before, but we're going to go over it again. Blake Griffin says that the New York Knicks will go to the chip. We're going to unpack that. We don't have no smoke of the week, but we do have a comment of the week, word on the street, and much more on This Week Inside the New York Knicks. Welcome to the show. I am your host, Karan Pierre, the Objective Fan, straight out of Kings County, New York City's finest. And you know the vibes, y'all, man. Welcome to the podcast. This is episode 12 of the 2025 off season. And of course, we'll be talking about all the hot topics between August the 18th to the 24th. Salute to you, Sam. I see you in the building early. You said you're going to catch this live. Sorry for my tardiness. But I will make this live a little shorter than the last couple. It'll be hitting that 2-hour mark. I will be hooping tomorrow. Look out for that, channel members. This Friday, Knicks call-up show. New products still on the way. I know I said it'd be done, but listen, good things take time. You may even see a comeback to this. This right here, the I Bleed Orange and Blue. We'll get to that. But there will be new merch in the shop. Trying to think if there's anything else. New York sports right now. I know Jets Giants hasn't started, but man, New York sports is in the trash right now. I mean, it's not looking good. My Lady Liberty dropping big games. They lost to the Atlanta Dream, the second seed Atlanta Dream. The Yankees and Mets have been getting dog. I mean, oh my God. We do got football coming. But I learned a hard lesson with New York football. Do not ever have any expectations for a New York football team. And screw the Bills. I don't care. If you're from Buffalo, sorry, I don't rock with the Bills. I am a Jets fan. Salute to the Jets. I don't rock with the Bills. But that's New York sports in a nutshell. I'm going to jump right into the pod. So if you're new to the pod, this pod is also associated with a blog called This Week Inside the Knicks. Hold on, give me 2 seconds, y'all. My studio mode. 2 seconds. I gotta set up the research mode. But in the meantime, I do see some more people that joined. Double D, what's going on? Salute to Randu. Man, Randu, man, you be cooking in the chat, man. Salute to you. We will be doing the gamification check later. So, get the comment on. A lot of you guys like to rank high for the gamification. I didn't see Crim's dad, but I know he'll probably be peeping in or popping his head in here. He always likes to be the first one to be number one on the gamification. So definitely keep the chats coming. And I do got an action-packed show. You guys know, I am not talking about the 1970s with Walt Clyde Frazier and Willis Reed. There's nothing to unpack from back in the day. Listen, even during the dog days of summer, we will talk about current events, current topics. Okay, so like I was saying, I'm going to go back to the homepage. Let me get this on the screen so you can see it. So, okay, good. So, this podcast is also associated with a blog called This Week Inside the Knicks. You can go there by clicking on the URL that's on the bottom of the screen, thisweekinsidetheknicks.com. And when you get there, what you'll be looking for is the episode 12, because that's where we are right now. You click on that And you will be able to see all of the resources that I will touch on in this video. And you will be able to, catch up on things that you may not have known, things that you may have, you might have missed. And I won't be covering everything because there's a lot here like it is every week. But at the same time, if you are interested in, just making sure you're up to date with everything Knicks every single Monday, all you got to do is come here and you will see a new article up there and it'll give you the breakdown for everything that took place. Okay. So I'm going to start with some of the special highlights. This past week, Jalen Brunson and Natalia Bryant did a nice commercial. So first off, salute the cat. And, he always was a part of, I always say he was a part of Mamba Mentality. He was a part of a documentary or something they did on ESPN for Kobe. Sorry, I can't remember the name of it. But he clearly comes from the Kobe Bryant school and mentality. And salute to them for, his family allowing JB to be a part of it and do this commercial and help him, launch his, the new Kobe 3 Pro Control. Okay. So salute to JB for getting in there. If you didn't see the ad, go check it out. If you want to see it, like I said, all you got to do is go to This Week Inside the Knicks and you'll be able to, I'm not going to play the video now because I don't want to get flagged, but I do want to salute JB. He's definitely a star in this league. And you know what? I'll also do really quickly some of the topics we'll be talking about once again. The flagship topic is, can Mike Brown help Jalen Brunson unlock the MVP level? And it starts with things like this. This brother right here, he definitely is a superstar in the league. And then all the rest of the topics, Beasley's to the Knicks, Dante, and etc. So we're going to get through that, all right? But I want to start off with some of the special highlights. I know this is not technically Knick related, but, I definitely want to give a big time salute to Derrick Rose, who actually came to the Knicks and actually signed an extension with the Knicks. So not only did we trade for him, he decided to stay. And I'm going to give Derrick Rose a big time salute, and the Bulls doing the right thing by honoring this brother and making sure that he is placed in the rafters in Chicago. His jersey will be retired on January 24th. Okay. So salute to the Bulls for getting that right with Derrick Rose. I know this has nothing to do with the Knicks, but once a Knick, always a Knick. And I thought that this was a good highlight. And, salute to Derrick Rose. I think Derrick Rose will also be walking out or doing something with Melo at the MVP. At the Hall of Fame that's coming up in September. So just wanted to give him a quick sidelight. Of course, we always start with the birthdays as well. 2 seconds. Yep. Okay. Just want to make sure my mic is good. Because when I can't see the levels. All right. Yeah, it's good. All right. So some of the birthdays, on this pod, to make sure we always have something to salute to the Knicks, we do birthdays. So this week we had a few birthdays. You have Kenny Skywalker, right? Salute to Kenny Skywalker. A lot of you guys may remember him. A lot of you guys may have seen him in person. He was born August 18th, 1964. And his Knicks tenure was from 1986 to 1991. Of course, a lot of us remember him from his dunk contest, dedicating the victory to his father back in 1989. And yeah, salute to Kenny Skywalker, right? Big time salute to Jeremy Lin. The Knicks actually tweeted or did something to honor Jeremy Lin on social media recently. He's born on August 23rd. Of course, his Knicks tenure was from 2011 to 2012. And everyone, if you, were living under a rock, you remember Linsanity. So, big time salute to Jeremy Lin and Linsanity. And let me keep it going. Bob Anderegg. Okay, it's always going to be some old dude from back in the day that you gotta, that's going to be on the list that we probably never heard of unless you go back to the 60s, which I doubt it. This brother was born in 1937. His Knicks tenure was from 1959 to 1960, and he was drafted in the third one in the 1959 draft. Okay, so salute to Bob Anderegg. Okay, so that's all the birthdays. Let me keep it moving. All the birthdays from the hold on, sorry, y'all. I got a multitask. Okay. Okay. So remember I told y'all I'm putting together the panel. I just gotta a confirmation. So I got to continue reaching. I'm putting together the nice panel, and we're going to discuss the Knicks championship window. Okay, but let me keep it pushing. Let me keep it pushing. So I want to get to some of these Knicks news stories. And by the way, smash that like button as you enter the building. This is the episode 12 of the 2025 off season, and we're talking about all the hot topics from the week. Make sure I got my clock set. And salute to you. I see you, Danny. I see you, E. Gibson. E. Gibson says he wants the ball movement. Yeah, I think that's coming, E. Gibson. I think that's coming. But I also don't think it's going to be a detriment to JB. And I think JB is going to take his game to another level. And we'll talk more about that. But I'm going to start with some of these actual Knick news stories of the week. So Jalen Brunson, you know, he has some words for Jordan Clarkson, who recently, of course, joined the team. And this was on the Roommates podcast. Brunson said, I know him. I talked to him for a little bit. He's a good dude. Surround himself with good people I know, which is key. So there's some connections and some relations there. He's a great addition for us for sure. So JB, he signs off on Jordan Clarkson. The only reason why I wouldn't start Jordan Clarkson is because defense, right? I don't think you could afford to have another defensive liability in the lineup, especially on the ball. But besides that, I really do believe that Jordan Clarkson, man, he would balance out the offense tremendously. Now, I know he's 6th man of the year kind of guy. We want him off the bench. But, boy, if he could play defense, man. Speaking of, like, I was talking to my brother over the weekend, and we were hanging out, and we was talking about the Liberty, and we said that Natasha Cloud is like the female version of Jordan Clarkson, but she plays defense, right? And I wish he could be the male version of Natasha Cloud because they play the similar way, but she defends at a high level. Clarkson's not known for his defense. Hey, but you never know. Under Mike Brown, we'll see what happens. But I do expect him to be our 6th man, 100%. But that's what JB has to say about him. And it's like, to bring it back to Leon Rose, the great Leon Rose. Salute to Leon Rose, man. Right? I think he's doing a great job. You know, he's crafting a team not just by getting the best players, so to speak, but by getting guys who are compatible. And I really do dig that. Let me move. I'm gonna try to move a little faster because I don't like the pod going on for too long. You know, I want to make this a quick little snapshot of the week. But sometimes, you know, the chat is lit and then we have really good conversations. But I'm gonna try to keep it moving. Now, where my man J-Tap? I don't think J-Tap's in the building. But J-Tap, when you watch this replay, okay, we got some news about one of your favorite, your not so favorite Nick. Josh Hart got the national recognition, right? That might shock some Knicks fans. Doesn't shock me, but I'm gonna go straight to the source. Hopefully I'm logged in. So The Athletic, they came out with the 40 best shooting guards, right? Including Anthony Edwards and Devin Booker, who to me are the 2 best guards in the league. I don't know why my account's not logged in. It's really weird. Anyway, but I guess they allow me to rock. So here are the top 2 guards in the league, okay? And I honestly, realistically, I think Josh Hart could be rated higher. But Anthony Edwards, Devin Booker, Donovan Mitchell, I don't got no issue with the top 3. I think those are definitely the top 3 2 guards. But Klay Thompson, number 5, I don't know about that, y'all. Bradley Beal, number 6. I don't know about that, y'all. I don't know, man. Bane at 4, I'm cool with. Austin Reeves. Okay. Lou Dort. If that's the case, I would rate Lou Dort higher. But then Dyson Daniels, number 10. I don't agree with that. I don't think he's a top 10 2 guard. But then you get down to the tier 4, you see Norman Powell, number 11. I think Norman Powell is top 10 2 guard. Alex Caruso, number 12. Okay, he had a really good playoff run, especially in the West Finals and the Finals. I think that probably propelled them to be ranked higher on this list. But then Josh Hart, number 13. I think Josh Hart's the top 10 2 guard, 100%. 100%. But Josh Hart, salute to Josh Hart making the top 13. I disagree with his placement. I think he should be rated higher. I think I'll probably do a poll on this sometime throughout the week. But what say you? Then he's after then Dylan Brooks, RJ Barrett, number 15. Jalen Green, number 16. Damn, Jalen Green, number 16. Wow. Anthony Simon, Celtics. Stephon Castle, Spurs. Okay. Young boys. If you ask me, I'm not going to say the two guard position is a weak position because you got a lot of point guards that's playing too, right? And then a lot of premier shooting guards playing point guard like James Harden. But the point guard really carries the guard position in this league. All of the top guards, all are point guards. And that's no knock to, the two guards, but, I think a lot of the point guards is really carrying the load right now. And because of that, because a lot of two guards are not even really two guards to me, but they put them at two guard for whatever reason. And then even some of these top guys should be demoted. I think Josh Hart should be rated higher. Let me move forward. But, I know J-Tab is he's pulling his hair out right now. Whatever hair he has left, he's like, man, Josh Hart, number 13. Hoops Height had Josh Hart, number 9. And I agree with that way more. I think we went over that too. Let me keep it pushing though. Let's see. Here's one of the topics, one of the featured topics we'll be talking about. Got it right here. Scratch that off the list. We're going to talk about Blake Griffin and his prediction. Okay, so Blake Griffin, 6-time All-NBA All-Star, right? I'm sorry, 6-time NBA All-Star, not a 6-time All-NBA. But he made a statement recently on the podcast, right? And the name of the podcast is called Post Moves with Candace Parker and Aaliyah Boston. He says, I'll give you a hot take. I think Denver got better this summer. Denver took Oklahoma City to 7 games. That's a fact. That's a whole fact. I think Denver gets to the finals. New York or Cleveland in the East. I'll take New York. Maybe they learn from some mistakes and they'll make a few tweaks. So salute to Blake Griffin for putting the Knicks in the finals. I think a lot of us on this chat, a lot of us on this channel picked the Knicks to be, to win the a lot of you guys think the Knicks will win the championship, right? I don't know. I can't guarantee a championship, but I do think that we'll make the finals. I'm very, very, very confident that we'll make the finals. So, what's your thoughts on that? He has us in Denver. I think that Denver definitely poses a threat to OKC because, Jokic is still Jokic, even though Hartenstein be giving Jokic the business on the low because Jokic don't play no defense. And we might talk about Jokic a little later in Word of the Street, but, he doesn't play any defense. So Hartenstein gets those little float shots up because Jokic ain't even guarding it, right? And then, you got SGA, you got Lou Dort, you got Jalen Williams, all feisty guards. Lou Dort, you cannot play off of him. So Murray got to play. All those guys got to play defense, right? So it's going to be a battle. But I think that Denver, because of their offensive prowess, and now they got a guy like Cam Johnson there who could do more than Michael Porter. He's more mobile than Michael Porter. He's more prone to cut and get backdoor layups, right? Michael Porter just falls in love with the 3-ball. He's just stagnant at the 3-point line to me. So I wouldn't be surprised if Denver gets to the finals. And honestly, as a Knicks fan, I would rather see the Denver Nuggets than OKC. Not to say that Jokic is light and we just going to pack him up. I just think that Karl Anthony Towns is going to put a lot of pressure on Jokic. A lot of pressure on Gordon and all those guys. Towns is a monster. And yes, Jokic is Jokic. We know he's going to cook and kill. I think that, especially if we start the lineup that I think we should start, I think defensively we would be a better team than Denver. And I think that can honestly put us over the top. though both teams, to me, offensively, I wouldn't be surprised if the Nuggets and the Knicks are 1-2 in offense, right? Definitely 1-2 in starting lineup scoring. Like last year, the Nuggets were number 1, the Knicks were number 3. Let me keep it pushing. Don't want to spend too much time on these. I just want to get in and get out. Matter of fact, let me look into the chat for a brief second as I reset the show. Let's see. Randall says, who did that list? That list is BS. The Athletic. Oh my God, salute the Crim's dad in the house. I see you, Crim's dad. My birthday is this year. Well, every year is your birthday, Crim's dad. What is the reference? You want me to add your birthday to the list? Let's see. Most of these lists these days are rage bait content. Yes, I agree with that, the Wolf Perry. I agree with that. But because, remember, it's the dull days of summer, and, you know, we got to address it. We have to address it. By the way, I do want to show you guys something really quick. I'm going to give you guys a preview. So right now, we getting ready to get into, hoodie season. So break out the hoodies. We got the Captain 11 hoodies. Got the Bodega Cat t-shirt. I want to show you guys what's to come in the shop. Like I said, I still didn't add the products there yet, but I should be able to get to it this week, and you will see more items in there you can buy, more different variations of products. Like one thing I'm gonna come out with, you see how we got the white Bodega Cat mug? We're gonna come out with the black joint. So that's coming, right? Also, I don't think we got the black Bodega Cat hoodies yet. That's coming. So those are 2 changes off the rip. I'm probably got like 5 more products I'm gonna add to the store, but this is what we currently got. These are the 2 lines we got. Don't be surprised if you see the Eye Bleed Orange and Blue makes his way back into the shop. And we got some things in the works. There's another thing I'm working on. I can't talk about it right now, but every time I mention it to you guys, it just fuels me, to get it done, right? And so mostly I'm a one-man show. I mean, I do hire people to do certain things, but outside of me hiring designers and things like that, I mostly do everything myself. So, it takes me some time to get it done, but it'll get done. But I just want to show you guys the shop. Expect more to come. Of course, this is the best seller right here, the white Captain 11 Skyline joint. Everybody loves this. But be on the lookout this week. And channel members, you do get a discount on the shop. Okay? But hoodie season is upon us. I can't believe it's September. Yo, I was outside. What day was that? I think might have been Saturday. Got home late, right? And it was so cool out. I'm like, man, it's like fall. It's like you need a jacket out there, man. I'm wearing shorts. Man, I was messed up. But let me jump back into. Hopefully I was in research mode the whole time. I think I was. But just in case I wasn't in research mode, but this is what I was talking about. the Bodega Cat mug, the shirt, my fault. If I wasn't in research mode, my bad, man. I got a lot going on. But like, we're going to come out with the black mug to this and the hoodie version to this. Okay? I'm not sure if you guys seen it, but we're going to come out with the hoodies this week. 100%. I got to keep it pushing. I'm on a time crunch. I got to take my daughter somewhere. Let's see. Talked about Blake Griffin. Do I want to talk about Dante? I guess I got to talk about Dante DiVincenzo. Well, hold on. I'll start here. So I start here before I get to the Dante trades. But trade requests. Yeah, that'll come in when we talk about free agency. Anyway, so Dante DiVincenzo just gave Knicks fans another reason to love him, right? And recently, you know how like the brother in the chat just said how they be rage baiting us with these polls and things of that nature. Dante DiVincenzo, right, was recently, he made comments on The Athletic, who always does the anonymous players, the infamous anonymous players poll that always has Tibs as one of the worst coaches or least likely coaches you want to play for, right? So every year The Athletic does this poll. One of the questions which always is always, which coach would you least like to play for this year? We actually changed the question to, who do you think is the worst coach? But when it was, which coach you like to least play for, Tibs would win that poll. So apparently this year, Minnesota players were polled when Dante was already on Minnesota. Dante would follow around reporters who were taking the answers. When it got to the coach question, Dante would be like, "You MFers, family show, you better not say Tom Thibodeau. He's the effing best." Salute to Dante DiVincenzo, man. You know, listen, a lot of us thought that he was upset and like this beef with the Knicks because they traded him and he had the little spout with Rick Brunson and et cetera, et cetera. But clearly that was just emotions. He got traded. But most guys that play for Tibs say they love Tibs, right? They love him. He's a good coach. Very few guys, from what I see, I know Austin Rivers made a statement talking about, you know, his experience with Tibs. I know Joakim Noah said Tibs is out of his effing mind, but he didn't really throw Tibs under the bus. So a lot of the guys who actually play for Tibs, right, who have been vocal, haven't really spoke out against them. I know the cheerleader with the pom-poms, the dude that was on the Knicks bench that does a podcast. I don't even want to name his name, but he did a show with Reggie Bullock, and they were like cracking these little sly little jokes. Y'all know who I'm talking about. I just don't even want to say the guy's name because he's not even in the league right now. He's out here with you and I just talking about the game. He's not even in the league, but very few people had negative things to say about Tibs. We know Towns and Tibs had beef, but you know they patched that up, and Towns publicly, you know, been on the record with praising Tibs. So though we don't know if he was one of the guys that throw Tibs on the bus, I'm gonna talk more. I got another interesting story about that a little later we get into, but that's what Dante said though. So Dante stood up for Tibs, and you know why that's genuine to me? Because it's not like Tibs is his coach, right? It's not like Tibs is like he actually still playing for Tibs. Tibs is not even in the league right now. Tibs might not even be back in the league as a head coach. So he had no reason to cap. I want to talk about, all right, screw it. I'll talk about it. I'm gonna give a real brief. So once again, to my man who talked about the rage baiting clicks, right? CBS Sports did their top 25. I don't want to bash networks and stuff like that, but I just say it like this. CBS hasn't been one of the best at doing these when it comes to listing things. They tend to get it wrong most of the time. So they ranked the top 25 players of the century, and there are some players missing from the list. Man, I'm gonna scroll really fast, right? Kobe, Giannis, KD, Garnett, Dirk, D Wade, Chris Paul. Remember, this is a Knicks show. Just tell me who you think is missing from the list. Kawhi Leonard, Steve Nash, James Harden, Luka Doncic, Jason Kidd, Dwight Howard, Anthony Davis, Allen Iverson, Tracy McGrady, Dame Lillard. Well, T-Mac did play for the Knicks. I was going to say you don't see no former Knicks on the list, but T-Mac did have a stint with the Knicks. Jason Tatum, Dame Lillard, Shea, SGA, who I think, well, it's still early in his career. And then Russell Westbrook. Do you notice, besides T-Mac, do you notice any other Knicks on this list? Well, Jason Kidd was with the Knicks too, that one year towards the end. Do you notice anything about this list? So far, we see two Knicks, right? We see two Knicks on the list. Are there anybody missing from this list? I repeat, is there anyone missing from this list? I'm going to tell you, I'm going to cut the suspension. Carmelo Anthony's not on the list. Carmelo Anthony did not make the top 25 in the 2000s, the 21st century. Now, I'm not going to bash the players that's on the list because most of these guys deserve to be on the list. 100%. 100%. Most of these guys deserve to be on the list, right? So if you want to say, well, who do you take off the list? I could think of a couple of guys who I would. I'm not going to say it, but I just find it kind of funny that Melo's not on this list. I think Melo deserves to be on this list. He's top 75. Not everybody on this list is top 75 yet. Maybe they'll get there, but they're not there. I'm sorry if I keep scrolling up and down. I thought that they had the snubs on here. I was looking for snubs. Let me see. No, they don't got a snubs. You know what? And that's like, anytime you see a list like this where it's like all time and they don't got no snubs, you know that the list is probably not that good. But I was taken aback by Melo not being on the list. Now I know, I think everybody on this list, if I'm not mistaken, maybe Dame Lillard might not be it. Now I'm not saying to take Dame off the list. I'm just saying I think everybody on this list is definitely an All NBA first team, 100%, right? So if you want to argue that Melo was not an All NBA first team, then okay. But realistically, man, Melo was a problem, bro. What he did for the city of Denver, right? I mean, incredible. Then when he came to New York, he gave New York life and he helped, create magic in the Garden again. I don't know. I just think a guy like that belongs on the list. Let me know what you guys think. Let me keep it moving. Okay, here's one article that I really didn't want to go to, but I am. Salute to Spike Lee. He represents the Knicks hard body. I still think he's probably the biggest Knicks fan out there. I'm gonna scroll all the way down. He did an interview with The Ringer. Wait, was it The Ringer? Yeah, I think it was with The Ringer. Okay, so he did an interview with The Ringer, right? And I'm just gonna scroll all the way down because this is not a movie podcast. If you are interested in Spike Lee stuff, definitely go check this out. But I just want to scroll down to the last question. So, okay, last one. You lose 3 fingers, but the Knicks will win it all. This is the question. Last one, you lose 3 fingers, but the Knicks win it all. Spike Lee goes, where's the knife? I said I give up an Oscar. I don't need them. Okay, Oscar you don't need. As long as it's not the thumb, I need 2 thumbs. I'm left-handed. So take the 3 fingers from the right hand. I still won't be able to sign them checks. Yo, salute to Spike Lee, man. I'm going to ask y'all that question. Would you guys lose 3 fingers for the Knicks to win it all? Hell no. I ain't giving up my 3 fingers for the damn Knicks. I gave up damn near 30 years of my life cheering for this team, this godforsaken team. They better win a championship. I shouldn't say godforsaken, but you know what I mean. We suffered a lot. I'm not giving up 3 fingers. Another reason why, on a more realistic note, why I wouldn't give up 3 fingers, I think we're right there. Even though the window for me is 1 + 1 + 1. Let me try to shift a little bit. Even though the window for me is 1 + 1 + 1, I still think we're very close to a championship. So I don't need to lose 3 fingers, man. Nor would I ever lose 3 fingers for the Knicks to win a championship. Okay. I just had to touch on that really quickly. I know some of you guys would probably give your finger. I'm not doing it. I'm good, bro. I'm good. I'm good off that. Damn, you know what I forgot? After I did the blog, there was a Yaboo interview. I forgot to add to it. Maybe I'll do it after, but it was a good interview. Yaboo just talking about, his time with France. He thinks that France has a good chance to win the gold. If you want to watch these games and you don't got Fire Stick, not that I'm promoting that, it is what it is. You could get it here. Hold on, I got it. I could actually share it. If you want to do it the legal way, the right way, because I'm probably gonna buy this. All right, so I could watch all the Yaboo games. Because honestly, I didn't really care about the Euro games, but now we got Yaboo here. It's like, okay, I gotta log in. Anyway, this website right here, Courtside 1891. Go there. You will be able to watch the Yaboo games. I think it's like $20, and you'll be able to watch all the games. He had his this was the final exhibition. I didn't really care enough to watch these games. I'm not an exhibition dude, but they were saying that Yaboo did a good job defending Giannis, right? Even though Giannis still had 20, but he went 12 or 14 from the free throw line and was only 4 or 7 from the field. And, France beat up Giannis, but Yaboo, they said, did a decent job on him. I'm gonna like I said, I'm definitely gonna watch the games because Yaboo's there. And there's more content. But I don't really think what you do in this tournament necessarily translates to the NBA. Right? There's a lot of these dudes that are super nice, but they won't be able to fill a role on the NBA team. And once again, I do understand that the NBA is politics. Definitely politics. But at the same time, you know, some guys just can't cuss the mustard. So, but Yaboo, they said, did a good job on Giannis. And Giannis had another game where he had like 30 or something like that in like 20 minutes. It was crazy. Crazy stat line. So that's why this was a little bit of news. But I'll keep you guys abreast as to what's going on with Yaboo. If you don't want to spend the $20, no worries. I'll spend it, and then I'll just let you know what's going on. Let's reset this. But by the way, this is the podcast episode 12 of This Week Inside the Knicks. We're talking about all the hot topics between August 18th to the 24th. Okay. Definitely hit that like button as you enter the building. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. And if you are a subscriber, consider joining the channel. I will talk about why later. Let's see. E. Gibson said we might be able to make some type of move before the deadline. Who knows what that is? Oh yeah, I definitely think Leon Rose has a move waiting to happen. But right now I don't think that we would know enough to have an idea as to, even if we were closer to the time, I don't think we still wouldn't see it coming. You know, like he pulled that OG Anunoby trade out of a hat. He pulled that Towns trade, even though Towns has been rumored ever since he been a GM with the Knicks that they want Towns. That trade still came out of nowhere, right? So even the Mikal Bridges trade came out of nowhere. Let's see. HRMZ said, what about a pinky for a dynasty? HRM said, no, I'm sorry. I don't need a dynasty. I just need one championship, to be honest. Because look, and this goes back to what I said about Hartenstein. You get one championship in New York, that's like 4 or 5 championships everywhere else. So I don't even need the dynasty, bro. I just need the one championship. Randall says Melo not making the list is BS. I agree, Randall. I agree 100%. Right? I agree. Oh my God. Salute to my man Keith Watkins from the ATL, man. I do appreciate you in the building. Hopefully everything is well with you, good sir. Salute. Let's see. Nick Shack says Dante spent off season in the college at Rick Brunson house. That meant nothing. Facts, Nick Shack. And Nick Shack, look, and y'all, I keep mentioning episode 7 of the Objective Fan Hoops. Salute to the channel members that watch. I'm glad the camera shut off because it got crazy, but then, like Nick Shack said, you know, one of the things about why I love going to Marine Park, it's like a family environment. We've been playing there for years, man. So even though we yell and argue and we want to fight almost, it'll never be too crazy. It's just basketball, man. Basketball brings out intense passion, bro. Right? So, and that could be negative, that could be positive. It doesn't matter. He gives us that we need good health like we had apart from Mitch most of last season. That's how we adjust the Brown system. Well, no, E. Gibson, just to correct you a little bit, it wasn't just Mitch. It was Landry Shamet missing 30-plus games. It was Precious missing the first 2 months, right? So the bench, the guys that Coach Tibs wanted to go with, those guys were out. And so, yeah. I see you, Just Knicks, in the building. Salute to you. Nick Shack says the best players in our league come from Europe, especially best team players. I mean, I'm not going to debate whether or not Giannis and Jokic and even Luka, if you want to add Luka to that, if they're the best players in the league. Because they are. But after them is none but Americans. So when you say the best players in the league are European, those are really anomalies. They're really anomalies. It's not the norm. Like most of the All-Stars are not European. So, yeah. None will be better than this year, the way this season is breaking. Okay. All right, so let me keep the show moving. Reset my time. All right, cool. So we did Knicks news stories. I'm going to talk about some bad trade ideas that doesn't make sense. Okay. I just want to shut this down off the rip. I don't give a damn what you want to say. In this right here, Knicks' long dream star trade target is now closer to becoming reality. I disagree with that. I want to say, and we're talking about LeBron James. LeBron James, once he did the decision to go to Miami, there was no more desires for LeBron to come to New York. There was no, after that, New York people was like, he ain't rocking with us like that. Because if he wanted to come to New York, that would have been the time to come, especially when he was at the peak of his greatness, right? And he chose to go to Miami. So after that, I don't think Knicks fans was desiring, oh my God, we need to go get LeBron, right? But here's what they're saying. Adding LeBron could unlock New York's title aspirations. I disagree with that. I think that we have title aspirations right now, right? But look at this. Losing a Karl-Anthony Towns, Mikal Bridges, or other key pieces could be detrimental to the long term for Knicks, but beneficial in the short term. I disagree. I think that as great as LeBron James is, right? I would not trade Karl-Anthony Towns for LeBron James. It's not to say that LeBron is not a great player right now. It's not to say that LeBron won't help you. Karl-Anthony Towns is the center for our short-term future, or long-term, if you consider long-term to be within 5 years, right, of him signing that max. LeBron's probably got one more year. Why would I trade a guy that could give me 5 more great years or solid years at his current production for a guy who is not at his peak, but he's only going to give you 1 year? Why would I do that? You know, maybe if I could have did OG Anunoby straight up for LeBron, even that, I don't know if I want to do, because I feel like OG Anunoby is a defensive phenom, two-way player who's still growing in his game. I don't know if I would do that either. And you couldn't do it, right? It would have to be OG and Mitch or something like you can't do the LeBron trade straight up. You don't have enough salary to do the one-on-one unless it's Towns. But Towns, to me, that would be a deficit. Mikal Bridges can't be traded, right? Not until February, okay? And even if you wanted to trade Mikal Bridges, once again, his salary is not enough. LeBron James is making $53 million. Towns is the only one on the Knicks franchise right now that makes $53 million, right? OG is in the high 30s, or if not 40. Hold on, let's pull it up. We ain't got a freestyle, man. You know how I get down. That's why I stay in research mode, even if I have to go off the script. You know, anything to get the information right, right? So LeBron James is getting $53 million. He has a no trade clause, right? So OG Anunoby makes $39 million. Now, he has the 15% kicker, so the 15% kicker is probably like 4.5. So 44, you're still short $10 million, meaning that you would have to trade OG Anunoby and Mitchell Robinson to get into the same ballpark as LeBron and the Lakers. I'm not sure if the Lakers are an apron team. If the Lakers are an apron team, that deal won't work because they can't take on more salary than they send out. Now, you're going to have to add more pieces. So the LeBron trade would be really, really complicated. It's not a simple deal as you think it would be, right? So, no, to me, the deal financially doesn't make sense. It's kind of like what we said when we were talking about KD, right? And I don't think that he's our long dream star. Like, once he curved us, I don't think we wanted him. But yeah, I'm not even going to spend more time on that. Yeah, but the LeBron trade, please do not come to me with the LeBron trade rumors or just tell me that you want LeBron in the trade. Doesn't make sense. Now, if he gets bought out, LeBron James gets bought out, I don't want to be a Laker, buy me out. Okay, I'll go get him. But yeah, outside of that, I'm not doing it. Okay, so to bring it back to Dante DiVincenzo. So the Heavy had an interesting trade proposal for Dante DiVincenzo. If the Knicks were to trade for him, if he's on the block, the Minnesota Timberwolves would receive Miles McBride and Yaboo. Knicks would receive Dante. Of course, this deal would have to be done after December 15th because Gershon just signed his contract and he can't be traded. How many of you guys are willing to do Deuce McBride and Yaboo for Dante? I don't even think you could do that deal. Hold on. Gershon makes 5.5. Let's see. Deuce makes 4.3. So that's under $10 million, right? Let's see. Minnesota is a first apron team. Unless they drop salary. Hold on. I don't think they did. Yeah, Minnesota's a first apron team. Let's see how much Dante makes. Yeah, there's no way. Nah, see, this is what I'm saying. I should have made this a correction too. This is why it's a bad trade idea. This is a bad trade idea. The deal is just terrible, right? First off, the money doesn't work out because Minnesota cannot take on more salary than they send out. I'm sorry, the Knicks can't take on more salary than what we send out. Deuce and Gershon is about $11 million. No, I'm sorry, just under $10 million. Dante makes over $11 million. So deal won't work unless you adding another player. But now remember, when you do these multiple players for one deal, you still got to fill out, you got to replace these guys. So also be wary of that because sometimes, we live in an NBA 2K world where you're the master of the league and you can make all the rules you want. No, there's actual rules to do this, okay? To do these deals. So no, this is a terrible idea. Dante DiVincenzo to the Knicks doesn't make any sense. Now, would I want him back? Like if I actually could get him as a part of a big deal where like, let's say you get Giannis and Dante. Okay, let's do it. But there's no deal that makes sense for Dante straight up. Sorry to burst your bubble. He makes $11 million, right? You got a match salary, 2 first apron teams, right? Minnesota's a first apron team. We're a first apron team. There's no deal that makes sense, right? There's no deal that makes sense unless, even if you decide to say, let me do Mitchell Robinson, right? Minnesota has to add another player to the deal. So now Minnesota has to decide which other player. Let's see who Minnesota has. I'm pretty sure they might have somebody who's trade bait. They will have to find a third team. Come off one of these dudes here, Jalen Clark. I don't know who Jalen Clark is. Is he their draft pick? When was he drafted? I don't know. Looks like a rookie. No. I don't know. They could give up this kid here if they wanted to. Jalen Clark. They could trade Jalen Clark to the Hornets. But do they even want to do that? I don't know. The deal doesn't make sense. And then on the Knicks side, why would I trade Mitchell Robinson? And Knicks Jack, this is for my Mitchell Robinson guys. I'm on your side this one time. Why the Mitchell Robinson trade doesn't make sense for Dante. Now I'm losing out on my center, right? For another guard. We already talking about getting Malik Beasley. If you want Dante, convince Malik Beasley to sign. I'm just saying, like, what are we talking about? I'm gonna get to Malik Beasley in a second, but yeah, I just want to shut that down. Okay, those are the bad trade ideas. If you want to see it, just go to the blog. You can look it up. I'm gonna try to run through some of these smoking hot topics. I would talk about the Knicks starting 5. I'm gonna skip that. I'm gonna skip the Knicks starting 5. I do want to ask this question to y'all too. Karl-Anthony Towns, is he the most under pressure for this upcoming season? They got him and Anthony Davis as the stars with the most pressure, right? And this Perkins, I think this is Kendrick. Yeah, Kendrick Perkins says this, that Anthony Davis and Towns are under the most pressure. Perkins, including Towns with Davis, was an interesting note. Cat isn't the first option on the Knicks. So that already defeats, like, that point right there automatically removes Towns from this list. The fact that he isn't the first option on the Knicks, he isn't the captain of the Knicks, he isn't the leader of the Knicks, how in the hell, what pressure does Towns have? Because he has a new deal that he has to sign? Okay, he's not the only one. I think that Trae Young is under more pressure than Karl-Anthony Towns. Trae Young ain't got no extension. What's going to happen with Trae Young? Will he be on the move? Is it related to Atlanta's success? I don't think Towns has the most pressure on him. Everybody has pressure on them, but when you say the most pressure, I think he was missing. I'm gonna say missing. I think that he was kind of short-sighted on this one, right? So he isn't the first option, right? That goes to Jalen Brunson. They have a very talented team: Mikal, OG, Josh Hart, Mitchell Robinson. Pressure usually falls on the first options, right? However, Towns has had some poor playoff performances, most notably against Dallas Mavericks in the Western Conference. But hold on, but I could have sworn that wasn't this Towns' best playoff year in his career? Hold on, am I tripping? Let's pull it up. I could have sworn that this playoffs, yeah, Towns out a career high. Well, he almost tied his career high in scoring. Career high 11.6 rebounds, right? Didn't shoot the greatest from three, but career high field goal percentage. Went to the Eastern Finals again. I don't know, man. I think that this might be his best playoff performance, man. Look, because even if you want to look at the 2022 performance, he only played 6 games. He got bumped in the first round, dog. So I would say this is Towns' best playoff performance. I don't even think bringing up the playoffs helps that argument, right? Because it's not like his playoff performance this past year was terrible, right? He and Jalen Brunson were the first duo since Shaq and Kobe to have 5 20-point games in the series. Let that sink in and register. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know about that, dog. Yeah, we're going back out of there. I disagree, Kendrick. Even though Perkins, he's usually on point. I think I don't agree with that statement that he just made. I don't care about the Knicks offseason ranks. I don't give a damn about your opinions. Not today. I do want to talk about this, though. And we talked about this a little bit on the call-up show. By the way, go check out the call-up show. We talked about Malik Beasley a lot. I'm going to highlight Malik Beasley again. We also asked the question, do you think that Jalen Brunson should be a second option instead of a first option? So, yeah, definitely that call-up show was popping, right? But RJ Barrett on the trade block. He and Quickly, I think, are on the trade block, but definitely RJ. They are looking to shop him. OG Anunoby had one of the best years of his career last year with the Knicks. RJ is a better scorer than OG Anunoby. I don't think no one ever questioned that. But overall, OG Anunoby is a better player than RJ Barrett. And it shows. It shows in the bag. It shows in the impact. It just shows. And it looks like, because RJ's on the block, the Knicks might have won the trade. And I like to wait, right? I like to wait to see some time to see who really won the trade. But I think right now, especially if RJ gets traded, I think that I would say the Knicks won the deal. What say you? Let me know in the chat. I'm not going to talk about Mitch's contract extension. I do got something I want to add. So I might, because I did an unfiltered thought on Mitch. So, to all the channel members, or if you do become a channel member, you could go watch it. Why I think that Mitchell Robinson is in his last days of the Knicks, why he's likely up out of here. There's one point I do want to add to it. I'm not going to share it now, but there's something that I didn't consider. But there's a good read on here. This read right here, if you want to check it out. It kind of touches on some of the things I said, but I do disagree with that. This article kind of says that Mitchell Robinson is in the driver's seat. I disagree with that. I don't think Mitchell Robinson is in the driver's seat just because his contract is expiring. I think the Knicks will trade you. I don't think the Knicks care about, we could lose this player. I think Leon Rose is so good at what he does that he probably already has his escape plan mapped out. But if you want to check that out, this is under the Smoking Hot Topic section, and it's the 11th news article that's there. I do want to say I kind of told you so, right? I did the 2 hour 45 minutes telling you why Tibs was fired. Daily Knicks put out an article 23 hours ago, and basically, kind of adding some detail that we didn't know. So recently, the Athletic's Fred Katz has some light to shed on the Coach Tibs scenario. He says, I don't think Tibs ever really worked great with Mikal Bridges. I don't think basketball fit optimized. I'm sorry. I don't think the basketball fit optimized great. Tibs was an amazing coach for Jalen Brunson, an amazing coach for Dante. I don't think he was a great coach for Mikal Bridges, and I think maybe not a great coach for OG Anunoby. And this is what he said. I know those guys had disagreements on certain things. So, hey, we said that the players were not named in those sources of guys who spoke out for Coach Tibs in that exit meeting with Dolan and Leon Rose. But according to Fred Katz, he's saying that Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby, those guys had, he's confirming that those two 100% had disagreements with Coach Tibs. But once again, this all adds to the fact that player impact, I told y'all, was the number one reason why Coach Tibs is out of here. And it's probably the only reason why he's out of here. Because prior to that, you see Dante DiVincenzo speak up for Coach Tibs. You already see Josh Hart publicly say what he had to say. Of course, Captain say what he has to say. Those are the guys that, you know, normally would go into an exit meeting saying, Tibs is great. We love him. So, of course, that would keep Tibs on for another year. Even with the World Wide West, beef that he and Tibs certainly had, right? But I'm gonna keep it pushing, man. Let me look into the chat real briefly. Salute to Darlene Bryan. I see you in the building. If you just joined the show, definitely smash that like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribed, and if you are a subscriber, consider joining the channel. Brown. So we're getting ready to talk about Brown and Brunson. In terms of can he turn Brunson into an MVP under his new program. Malik Beasley. We're getting ready to talk about that in a second. I talked about the Dante DiVincenzo trade proposal, how it's nonsense, not going to happen. And then we talked about Blake Griffin says that the Knicks will make it to the finals against the Nuggets, right? So we talked about that, right? So got a couple of more topics I want to get into. Then we're going to get into the flagship, right? Which is Brunson to MVP. So if you're here for that, we didn't get to that yet. We will get to it in a second. I do want to look a little bit into the chat, and I'll do a quick little top 5 gamification. So right now, Knicks Yak #1 on the gamification. Salute to you, Knicks Yak. Salute to you, Randall. Salute to you, HRM, the great man, channel member, Knicks Tape Madness Discord server. Salute to you, HRM. Hopefully you doing well. John Bryce at the #4 spot. We got a Laker fan in the building. Mongo Slade at the #5 spot. Salute to you, Mongo Slade. Hopefully all is well. I would love to get a Knicks and Lakers NBA Finals. And by the way, this new product I'm getting ready to launch, I'm trying to have it launched by mid-September. You're going to be able to, Mongo Slade, you're going to be able to benefit from it too. You don't even have to be a Knicks fan. All right? Trust me, it's coming. All right, let me see what else you guys talking about. Read a couple of more comments. The Davis. Okay, he says Davis has more pressure. If you want to say that, I'm not going to argue with Anthony Davis. I'm not sure what his contract situation is, but hey, if he feels he has a lot of pressure on him, so be it, right? I don't really have the pushback there. My pushback was really for Towns. Nick Shack said Minnesota could have signed Yaboo as a free agent, who is a role on Minnesota with 3 big men already. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's all the way true though, because I don't think Yaboo considered Minnesota. He considered the Knicks, is what I was told. So the New City Knicks in the building. I see you. Been a minute. Definitely got to hit the call-up show. You always bring great energy to the call-up show. Definitely, y'all. Yo, listen, by the way, the call-up show will be back Fridays, y'all. Y'all got to start calling back, man. Once I took that break, it's like the callers just kind of took a break. I mean, people watching the show. It's just that y'all not calling. So we got to get the callers back up on the call-up show on Fridays. All right, let me keep it moving, y'all. I'm going to talk a little bit about free agency. The two-way spots, I don't even really care to discuss this much. We have 3 vacant two-way spots. I think Dink Pate, I think he's a candidate to get one of those. I'll show you why in a second. Diawara, they're saying he might be a two-way, but I don't know how that makes sense. Unless the Knicks is making a trade, I think Diarra has to get the 1 year minimum. But Kevin McCullough, he could return to the two-way spot. And it says that it's my understanding after talking to several people around the league that McCullough isn't eligible, right? Okay. Right, we talk about that. The spot has to go somewhere as service. For McCullough to make the main roster, the Knicks will have to sign him using the veteran minimum slot or make a trade. I don't see the former happening. So, I'm going to tell y'all right now. Listen, I'm going to tell y'all right now. If Leon Rose can get McCullough Jr., this brother right here, let me take the topics off. If he can get this brother right here to take a two-way contract, the man is a genius. My thing is this. All the NBA teams right now taking a sweet time. I think Giannis has something to do with it. And there may be some other political things that, maybe they were waiting to see if more guys get bought out. Malik Beasley, maybe some teams was waiting to see what happened with him and his investigation. So teams are very patient. I seen some guys get signed to 1 year deals. I'm like, who the hell is this? I think Kevin McCullough Jr. could get a minimum spot somewhere. Not saying he will, but if you can convince this brother to sign for another two-way spot, that's an incredible job. That's an incredible, because McCullough doesn't have to sign for that. And like the article says, more than likely they won't want to go with a veteran, or they would have to do a trade, which I don't know. I mean, you could trade Tyler Kolek, but do I have am I going to touch on that? Hold on, I might touch on that. I might be jumping the gun on myself. I'm gonna skip the Giannis article, right? I don't want to go to Giannis right now. Giannis trade. I do want to trade for Giannis, but until he says something, I think I'm gonna kind of hold off talking about Giannis. Oh, okay, yep. This is what I would touch on. So, the cap guru, right? Magic Trick Leon Rose. We already know him and Brock Aller and the whole staff. Incredible, right? Now, the Knicks must make a trade if they want to sign two vets. That could be also including McCullough Jr., right? So right now, Knicks the 3.7 that I keep talking about, a pair of veteran minimum deals will cost you about $4.6 million. That leaves them short of $900K. So they have to free up $900K, right? Now here's what they could do. They can offload Kolek or Bacone Dadier, right? Get rid of their salaries. Let me show you. I just closed the window out. I kind of feel bad about that, but let me get it right back. Okay, cool. So if you offload their salaries, right? If you do a trade, let's say you do a salary dump, you trade them for like a second round pick or something like that, right? All right, cool. So now you get this you see the 2.1? And for Bacone, you get the 2.2. You see that? So you add the 2.2 to this, it'll be like 5.9. Right? Roughly 5.9. This is what the article is saying. So if you were to get rid of them, right, and now you have 5.9 in space, which is right here, right? You can now sign the two veteran minimums for the 2.3 and then get the rookie for the 1.3. Does that make sense? So if you dump Tyler Kolek or Bacone Dadier, which I think if they're going to dump them, I think it would more than likely be Tyler Kolek. If they dump Tyler Kolek, unless they feel like they could get a first-round pick for Bacone, if they could get a first-round pick for Bacone Dadier, I think they'll dump Bacone. But I think that if it's just second-round picks, I think that Kolek is probably more expendable in that regard. I don't know. I would hate to lose him. But at the same time, if now I can get Malik Beasley and I'm trying to think who else is out there. I don't even know. Whoever else is out there, another big man I would get, and then I just sign Diarra, I go for it. So that's the trick that to be on the lookout for. Don't be surprised if one of these guys get dumped. I doubt it'll be Ariel. I doubt it. Unless they say, hey, Mitch, we're going to extend Mitch. And then now they're like, well, let's just get rid of Ariel, get space, and then get 2 more guys. I don't know. I'm just showing you the options that the Knicks can do. Wait, but Ariel, I think, what was it? No, Ariel could be dealt because it was an extension, right? So you could add Ariel to the list. I doubt they would get rid of Ariel, but you could add him to the list, okay? For them to complete the magic trick. Let's see what else I want to talk about. Disheartening. But yeah, Ben Simmons. I don't want to talk about Ben Simmons. Don't want to talk about it. I'm just gonna skip that. Malik Beasley no longer the target, right? I talked about this on the call-up show. And I thought that the FBI did him dirty. You know, they waited until damn near the end of not the end, but they waited deeper into the free agency to clear the brother on that he's not going to be charged on nothing, right? So now all the teams that spent money lose out in getting him, including the Detroit Pistons that was willing to offer the brother a 3-year, $42 million. So once again, Malik Beasley, man, I feel bad for the brother. And hopefully I didn't add to the jokes and the, oh yeah, Malik Beasley's guilty talk before he even was tried with anything. And that stuff right there hurt him in the long run. Because now his slim pickings and he's likely going to have to take a minimum deal. There are teams with the $14 million mid-level exception, but most of those teams are just terrible, like the Wizards. And I doubt that he will go to a place like that, but maybe he needs money. So maybe he'll go take a deal like that. I don't know. But rumor reports the Knicks and the Cavaliers are interested. And let me see if I got that article here. I don't think I added it. There was another article that says something. It might have been this one. Hold on. 2 seconds. Okay. So here's what this article said, right? Daily Knicks, right? Knicks could steal the offseason with a bold move. If the Knicks want to separate themselves from the other suitors for Malik Beasley, there's one thing they can do. And here's something I might not mind. You sign Malik Beasley and start him. Say, hey, Malik, look, we a championship contending team. We going to sign you and we going to start you. How y'all guys feel about that? It's a bold strategy. What do you think? Would you sign Malik Beasley? And in order to get him to come, would you want to make him a starter? Me personally, I don't like the defense. I don't think he's strong defensively. And if he can be like a Landry Shamet level of defense, I might have to do it, because I'm not going to say he's a point guard, but I think that he'll be more comfortable initiating offense next to Brunson. He's definitely going to stretch the floor, 100%. You cannot. Now imagine you got Beasley, Bridges, and OG. There's no way you can double team Towns and Brunson. I'm running pick and roll. Listen, I would be running pick and roll like 40% of the time. Not that they got to score off the pick and roll, just to initiate offense, just to see what the opposing team's going to do. How you going to stop it now? I got shooters all around them. But that's the interesting proposal that can possibly land Malik Beasley into New York. Listen, you're not going to get paid, but you got the opportunity to start on a championship Knicks team. This is New York City. Why not? So I just wanted to share that about Malik Beasley, right? And then lastly, I want to end on this Think Pay kid. So Think Pate, right? For some reason, I thought he was French. I don't know why. I was calling him Think Pate, like he was French. This dude is like from the Midwest somewhere, I think, right? Anyway, so the Knicks, they made a deal. G League team, they made a deal. They got rid of Boo Bowie. Do they got the deal here? They don't got it here? Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. The Westchester Knicks G League affiliate announced that they acquired Las Vegas Summer League standout from Mexico City. Oh, okay, he was in Mexico City. Boo Bowie. They traded Boo Bowie for Dink Pat. And I think that he definitely could make the team now, especially now that they made this move. They also signed him to the Exhibit 10 deal, right? So there's a good chance he gets the two-way. And the reason why the Exhibit 10 deal is a powerful tool for teams, especially if you've been working with dudes over the summer or even just over the past couple of years, those guys get an additional $75,000 if they sign with your G League team, right? So that's why the Exhibit 10 deals are pretty powerful, man. But that's all. I don't want to spend too much time on G League trades, right? I'm gonna get the flagship in a second, and I'm gonna look at your chats, man. But like, keep hitting that like button, man. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribed, and if you are a subscriber, consider joining the channel. Let me see what you guys talking about in the chat. Nick Chat, Beasley going to whoever gives him the most money, possibly. We got to see what his desires are. I'm just saying how the Knicks could stand out. Listen, you gonna start. Randall salutes to Darlene. By the way, salute to On Dios, the super mod. Definitely check him out on IG. Great content. Nick Shaq Pacome is a first rounder. Knicks consider our best pure shooter and a need position. Kolick is why we care for another two guard. Makes know who can only be here for 1 year. Are you saying that you don't want to trade Kolick? I listen, man. It depends on who the veterans that we can get. I mean, right now, if I have to trade Kolick to get Malik Beasley for 1 year, I think I'll do it. I don't think Kolick's going to become an all-star. I could live without that. I could draft another Tyler Kolick next year with a second-round pick. I think we got second-round picks next year. So let's not act like he's a first-round pick. We just paid him like he was a first-round player. Let's see. Crate. I'm just going to say Lou says bold strategy, but you bugging low. It ain't going to happen. He can't defend our way. Yeah, that's the only thing that I don't like about Malik Beasley. He's not a good defender. Not on the ball. Pacome is our best pure shooter. I don't know about that. Because look, what you going to point to? G League? What you going to point to? France? That's not the NBA, bro. This is the league, dog. I don't give a damn what you did in a lesser league. To me, your stats in a lesser league does not show what you're going to do in the NBA level. Oh, happy birthday. Happy birthday, On Dios. Salute to On Dios on the happy birthday, man. You know, I appreciate you being here on your birthday, brother. Salute. And like On Dios said again, definitely hit that like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Keep smashing it. Yeah, salute On Dios, man. I appreciate you, man. You the best mod. You're one of the best. I'm going to say all the mods on my channel are fire. But On Dios, you are one of the best mods on YouTube. So I appreciate you being a mod for my channel, man. You do great work. I'm going to jump into flagship, y'all. So the reason why I came up with the flagship topic, right? Especially now that we don't got some new. Oh, damn. Did I tip my hand? Crimsdad, are you here? Crimsdad, you better stick around for the. I forgot to say, Crimsdad, you should stick around for the comment of the week. Because you might have made it. But can Mike Brown turn Jalen Brunson into an MVP candidate? Okay. Now, the reason why I came up with this topic because I read this article in Daily Knicks, right? And this article actually has a lot of great points, things that I kind of overlooked, right? About Brunson. Now, as I talk about the MVP thing, I don't want you guys to think I'm completely clickbaity because I'm not. I don't do clickbait. But when you think about Jalen Brunson becoming an MVP, the first thing that comes to your mind is all the reasons why he can't. And yes, he would be a huge underdog to be an MVP. 100% facts. But what did he finish But here's something that we got to look at, right? To kind of like consider the possibility of Brunson being an MVP, right? Is he as far off as you think he is, right? Is he as far off as you think he is? Now, I don't think that Brunson is the favorite to be the MVP. I am the objective fan. I'm not the delusional fan that just thinks everything New York is the greatest and yeah, New York, everything. No, hell no, right? But at the same time, when you look at Jalen Brunson in his 3 years in New York City, he was 12th in MVP voting his first year. He should have been an All-NBA teamer, and he should have been an All-Star in his first year, if you ask me. But in his second year, first time making the All-Stars, he was an All-NBA second team. He should have been on the first team, but he was 5th in MVP voting. This was in the 2024 season. Career highs all across the board, right? How far off is a 5th in MVP? Now, I know you're going to say, oh, well, last year he was 10th in MVP. Remember, he did get hurt, right? Remember, he did have more help in the starting lineup, right? So it didn't make it look as captivating as it did in 2024. But Brunson is the same guy. It's just that, like I said, he had an injury and more help, and not necessarily more team success. So if we got the Knicks as a first seed in the East, right, and we think that Mike Brown's going to help elevate this team, why can't his MVP chances at least elevate? So once again, no clickbaity title. Once again, I'm not saying he's the favorite to win MVP, but I want us to really think about it, right, and just try to be open-minded to see what can happen, right? So Mike Brown hired as a new Knicks head coach, right? And definitely some people wish they had Tibs still. Some people wish that, they're happy to have Mike Brown. A lot of you guys did not have Mike Brown as your first choice, right? A lot of you guys wanted Taylor Jenkins or some of the other guys that was there. But nonetheless, Mike Brown is here. And if there's one person that should be thrilled for Mike Brown, it definitely should be Jalen Brunson, right? Jalen Brunson has found the point guard whisperer in Mike Brown. If you rewind the time, 2008 to 2009, Brown helped Mo Williams secure the first and only All-Star selection. Now, a lot of you guys remember Mo Williams. He used to always cook us. Always. Every time he would have against the Knicks, he would cook us, right? But that was under Mike Brown, right? Williams averaged a career best 17.8 points, shooting lights out, 46% from the field, 43% from three, and 90 from the line, all under Mike Brown. This was an early indication of how Brown can connect with productive scoring guards and enable them to thrive within his system, okay? The greatest example of how Brown has helped a star point guard reach the next level is De'Aaron Fox. Fox secured his first and only All-NBA and All-Star nods under Brown, averaging 25-6 while shooting an eye-opening 51% from the field. We already know how efficient Jalen Brunson is from the field, right? And imagine a guy like Mike Brown, who is the point guard whisperer, according to Daily Knicks, right? I like that. And so he can take his game to the level. And then Fox actually increased elements of his production the following season under Brown, posting a career best 26.6 and 2.9 three-point field goals made per game. In addition to reaching peak volumes, Fox shot 36.9, basically 37% from beyond the arc, a significant jump from his career mark of 33%. Fox and Brown unfortunately had a falling out in the 24-25 season, but the results they produce can't be glossed over. Now, there's some conflicting reports there because some people say that he had an issue with Mike Brown. Some people say he loved Mike Brown. So I don't know. I don't know what they make of that. But the bottom line is this: when it came to production, when they were doing their thing, this is what Mike Brown has done with point guards in the past, right? And so Mike Brown's history with those two, promising sign. For Brunson, that should paint a picture of Brown being the perfect coach to bring the best out of him. Not only does he have a history of bringing efficiency of winning players, but helping them improve their volume while contributing to winning. See, that right there is the number one thing for me with Mike Brown. Brunson may take less dribbles, but can he do this? Is bring their efficiency out by helping them improve their volume, right? While impacting winning. So not just Brunson, but because look, I'm pretty sure I got it somewhere. Hold on. Keep these on decks. Okay, keep these on deck, right? So anytime, here's the polarity of Brunson's brilliance, right? So anytime Brunson scored 30 or more, the Knicks were 15-7. Okay? Anytime he scored 30 or more, right? So the Knicks wasn't losing when he scored. They actually won when he scored 30 plus, right? But check this out. When Brunson got 9 or more assists, the Knicks record was 15-6. Right? So him moving the ball, we had success. Him scoring the ball, he had success. So there's a world in the mix here where Brunson can do his thing, right? While the Knicks achieve their winning and also maximizing the other guys as well, right? But Mike Brown is the point guard whisperer, okay? Now in New York, Brown would arguably, check this out, arguably he will have the best team he's coached thus far, and that's including the LeBron James Cavs. Right? Okay, cool. Moreover, the case to be made that Brunson is the best point guard Brown has ever coached. Facts. Even though Irving was there, but Irving was only in his 3rd season. Right? So, not only that, so Brown took these guys to the next level, right? Go back to Jalen Brunson. Brunson's already at an all-NBA second team level. He did this before Mike Brown, 26-7. 28 and just under 7. 2.4 turnovers, 2.5 turnovers. Dribble. See, the 2.5 turnovers was why I wasn't concerned with the dribble. But under Mike Brown, there will be less dribbles. Who's to say that Mike Brown can't activate more from Brunson? And more doesn't necessarily have to be more points. It could be, instead of shooting 49% from the field, now you're shooting 51% from the field and over 40% from 3 consistently and taking maybe 2 more free throws. Right? Because we know he's already shooting 80% from the line. That right there, coupled with the Knicks winning 60 games or getting close to 55, 56, 57. If the Knicks get 55, 56, 57 wins, you already see the NBA is already hyping up the Knicks. We're the new hype job, right? So all of that comes together, right? Now, we've seen the track record with the point guards, right? Everybody knows Brunson's the cap. Like, the Knicks don't got no ego issues. But this is New York City, man. I think that more wins, the same or more efficiency, gets Brunson to a first team, 100%. But when we talk about the MVP race, you're talking about Jokic, Giannis, SGA, and I even throw Luka into the mix. Luka has to show his ability to stay healthy. So Luka's health kind of puts him on the fence. And also the Lakers, I don't think the Lakers will be a top 3 team in the West, so that also may hurt Luka. Giannis, same problem, but Giannis is a beast. But the Bucks, I don't think, are a top 3 team in the East. SGA is SGA. Sometimes you have voters fatigue. He won the MVP. He should have won it 2 years in a row, if you ask me, but that's just me. And Jokic with the Denver Nuggets, we got to see. They were a 4th seed last year. Will they be a top 3 team this year? Jokic is a monster. We know that. But this is not the best player of the year award or the best player in the league award. This is the MVP award. We've seen Steve Nash get the MVP over Kobe. would it be a bigger surprise for Jalen Brunson to get the MVP over SGA? Let's say Denver's not as good as they supposed to be, right? That'll automatically diminish Jokic in the top, right? And also remember, you're talking about a New York City team that would be a high-ranking team, right? Anything that New York does on a big level, they're going to magnetize it. So that media limelight will help Brunson, just like it propelled him to being an all-star starter last year, even though he's not as popular as the ball kid from Charlotte. But the fact that he's in New York City, if Brunson would have played in Cleveland or Minnesota, he would not have been an all-star starter last year, 100%. What propels JB is the Kobe ad, right, with his daughter. That's going to propel JB. The fact that you're in New York City, the fact that the Knicks are a number 1 seed, that will propel JB to higher heights. So while I'm not saying that JB is the favorite, just don't, kind of shun it, right? As if it can't happen. He's already finished in the top 5 voting. Why couldn't Mike Brown get him in the top 3? Just saying. Let me move forward. I'm going to look in the chat briefly. Hopefully you guys are rocking with me. The other MVP candidates will play 5 more minutes than Brunson at 32 minutes. That's cap. Brunson's minutes won't change. See, this is what I'm saying, right? Like, y'all think because Mike Brown going to play more of the bench guys that, these guys are not going to get minutes. I'm going to take you to the Sacramento Kings, right? And we're going to look at what De'Aaron Fox did in Sacramento. So in Sacramento, De'Aaron Fox played more minutes than Brunson has ever played in his career. 35.9 minutes. Domantas Sabonis, 35.7 minutes. So when you talk about Brunson's getting 32 minutes, where are you getting that from? Where are you getting that from? You guys think because he's going to play the bench more that those guys are not going to get minutes. That's just not true. So yeah, Brunson will get 35 minutes. I don't see that changing. Lou says Coley will be traded for the better goods. We trying to win a championship here, but we'll see. Well, there's no guarantees they'll trade Coley. They could just let McCullough Jr. walk if he's not going to sign a 2-way. The other MVP candidates will... no, I've read that. He said that's actually scary for the league if that happens. Hey, John. We're in some scary times. Oh, Mellow Mike, I see you in the building. Yo, Mellow. I'm going to reach out to you as soon as I get off on here, man. I need you. I need you for something, Mellow. We going to talk. We going to talk, Mellow Mike. Great to see you in the building. Let's see. Let me keep it moving. All right. Yeah, I got like 10 minutes. All right. Let me go fast. So I'm going to go to comment of the week, all right? So I wanted to talk about all 3 of these comments, and maybe I might revisit it. But I'm going to go, because he's a channel member, I'm going to just rock out with Crim's dad. So on the last podcast, I came up with the championship window, which is what I want to do the show on, right? So no doubt Mellow Mike. So I already know Mellow Mike is going to be down. So yeah, with the panels coming together, we're going to do the panel. Be on the lookout for that. Now, the reason why Crim's dad is saying 1 + 1 + 1 = 3 is because that's what I said on the last show. That's what our window is. He's trying to say that my 1 + 1 is equal to the 3-year window. No, it's not. The 3-year window is no matter what happens in that 3-year window, if you get bumped in the first round, I mean, unless something crazy happens, you don't make the playoffs. I think that would change any goal. But like the 3-year window, we could make the second round every year. And we're coming back. No, Crim's dad. No. And I see you laughing in the chat. No. Let's just say, Crim's dad, no, don't mess it up. Don't change it now. Let's keep the energy the same. He says he's joking. No, but I do think I just want to, Crim's dad, let's look at this as a moment for me to clarify, right? So when you say the 3-year window, if you finish within a reasonable position, whether it be second round, whether it be the Eastern Finals, you'll come back with the same team and you'll try again. the Knicks don't have that wiggle room. I hate to break it to you guys. Business of basketball, second aprons, certain guys in contract negotiations, and we'll see how that goes. All those things factor into the business of basketball. I don't see the Knicks coming back if they don't. Possibly if they make the Eastern Conference Finals, then maybe. But finals, there's no way this team comes back. Because next year you're talking about a second apron. And all I was saying, in order to get to the +1, you have to meet the certain benchmark. So I think the benchmark is either Eastern Conference Finals, maybe, depending on how it goes, but definitely finals. And then that'll get you to the next +1. And then next year, that +1 may be different. The standard may be different, but you're going to have to qualify to get to the +1. So, I know Crim's Jab was trolling me, but I think that people do also think that way. So that's why I wanted to highlight that. And then BS 10258 says title or bust. I disagree with that. I don't think no team in the league, including OKC, has that as a thought process. Title or bust. That's crazy. It's very hard to win a title. I think that if you're a team that's contending, you want to at least get to the finals, especially if you've never been to the finals. I don't think that we have to win the championship. I don't see a world where Leon Rose goes, oh, well, we didn't win the title, so let's just throw everything in the trash, and then, we're going to move off everybody. I mean, I'm sorry, we didn't win the championship, so I'm going to throw everything in the trash, and then, because we're supposed to win a championship. I don't see that happen. I think finals is safer to say, or even Eastern Conference Finals is safer to say, because title or bust, it's very hard to win a title. And I think that, the saving grace for that would be, okay, let's give Mike Brown another year, and then we'll see what we can do with little tweaks. There's going to be tweaks regardless, right? But I don't think that title or bust is a fair statement. But hey, Crim's Dad, I thought you wanted to be comment of the week, man. There's more comments here. I might revisit these other ones because these are some really good comments. But I'll try to get to that next week. I'm gonna hit the word on the street, then we up out of here, right? And then before I get, let's see if there's any more comments. Chat is lit today, man. Salute to the chat. I do appreciate you guys. Randall says, yes, finals or bust. I'm with you. But championship or bust, I don't even think OKC thinks like that. Yes, I think their goal is to win the championship, but the reason why Isaiah Hartenstein won't be with the Oklahoma City Thunder next year, I don't think it has anything to do with the title. I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think they could win the title. They could go 77-5, win the title, and Hartenstein still won't be there next year. All money and aprons and money. It's all aprons. Listen, it's a business, all right? Now, before I get to the flagship, to a word on the street, I do got to talk about the channel membership, man. So I've been telling you guys why you should join earlier in the show. We got two packages, the Starter Knicks fan and the Hardcore Knicks fan. I'm only going to talk about the Starter Knicks fan, which begins at $4.99, and it comes with a lot. So when you join the channel, the first thing you'll notice is you'll get access to the Knicks Tape Madness Discord server, which is a members-only server where we have great conversations, 24/7 Knicks chat. We talk about all sports. I mean, we was talking about the Yankees and the Mets and the state of New York sports yesterday. And so it's also a great way to extend the conversation with me. So if you're enjoying the content on the channel and you want to continue, building and having these conversations, definitely join the channel. Get inside that Knicks Tape Madness Discord server. This is not a free-for-all Discord for everybody to chime in. I don't listen too much trolls, and I don't got the time to deal with that. So I like to deal with a closed-off server with good people in there that always wants to talk sports. And listen, we're going to argue. We're going to debate. We're going to debate. There's been times where it was me versus the whole server, but it's always done with respect and with love. Now, of course, when you join the channel, you also get the stars. That's how I'm able to recognize Crim's dad. I see the stars. It stands out. And he agrees with me one at a time. So anytime, the channel members put something in the chat, I could easily find them, right? It just makes it a lot easier to identify who you are. And even the color codes. So Crim's dad, he's been a member for some time now, because certain color codes tells you how long you've been. Now, I can't remember what all the colors stand for, but the longer you've been with a member, the different color badge you'll have. Okay. Now we do members only live chats. Like I want to do the what is the Knicks championship window show. If I do the panel, I'm deciding whether or not to make that a members only live chat. Usually if I do a show like that, I make it a members only chat. So that way I could just focus on the content, because I would love to do hour-long content, but because I'm kind of long-winded and there's a lot to talk about, I always go over that time. So one of the ways I'm able to cut it down is to just make it a members only chat. And I do that quite a bit. Also, I do members only live streams. One of the shows that I do is the Objective Fan Hoops. I'm getting ready to go live tomorrow. I'll be hooping. Definitely check that out. And you know, that is an exclusive member only live stream. I also do members only content, videos, status updates. One of the video series we do is the Unfiltered Thought series. The last Unfiltered Thought I did was why Mitchell Robinson, right, will likely go. Now I know Nick Shack don't want to hear that, but yeah, I did a video on that, and usually it's just content that I just don't want to share on YouTube because I don't want to offend nobody, like Nick Shack and to all the Mitchell Robinson people. But yeah, I usually record around 3 in the morning, and I just go in. I just hit the record. There's no editing. There's no pretty nothing. It's just me just going in raw talk, right? Of course, members get shouted out and discount on the merch. Like some of the merch I showed you guys and all the new merch that's coming out this week, members get a discount on all of the merch. Okay. Now I'm gonna do word on the street really quickly because I know my daughter, she's like, what's taking me so long? Could you believe I offered her the opportunity to watch me record the show? And she's like, no, she don't want to watch it. I'm like, damn, I'm just not interested, huh? So let me, I did a lot of polls this week. I can't do everything. Let me see. Okay, there, we're going to do this one. All right, so out of the 3 choices below, which center would you say is the best defender? Now, I ain't going to lie. This was a trick question. 470 votes. 31% say Towns. I'm saying Towns. 24% say Jokic. I don't understand. To the 24% of you guys that voted for Jokic, I am questioning your basketball knowledge. What about Jokic screams defense to you? I don't know. And then Sabonis got 44% of the vote, which is another thing I don't understand, because defensively, what does Sabonis do that stands out? Please don't say he's a better rim protector than Towns. He's not. Jokic is not a better rim protector than Towns, right? So why do you think Sabonis is better defensively than Towns? I don't understand it. To me, Towns has more blocks than both of these guys, right? And to me, Towns is aggressive on the defensive end, more so than I would say. Now, you could argue that Towns gets into foul trouble, and that's bad because he's just swiping like crazy. But if you swiping, that means you're attempting to play defense. He was the defensive anchor on the Kentucky team in college. He was the anchor. Cauley Stein was on the perimeter. So this was a trick question. But also, the reason why I position this, because a lot of you guys say, well, Towns, he doesn't defend well. He doesn't protect the rim. So he's a power forward. But no one says that about Jokic and Sabonis. Jokic plays no defense whatsoever. I don't give a damn about defensive. Somebody put, they got the same defensive rating. First off, defensive rating does not account for matchups. One thing we do know, Jokic has Aaron Gordon, which does all his dirty work. Towns does not have that. Mitch came 15 games towards the end of the season, and they only started 3 games in the playoffs together. Towns doesn't have a Mitch starting with. I mean, he may have him next year. I don't know. But the bottom line, my point is that Towns was doing what he was doing with no help, no protection, having to hold it down himself. The bonus averages 0.4 blocks a game. What are we talking about? Let me just keep it moving. Okay. So the Athletic ranked the Knicks star Jalen Brunson 4th on their top 40 list of their top 40 lead guards list. Do you think they got it right? Where would you place him? I put him top 3. 57% of the 383 votes say agree. They say Brunson is top 3. 13% say number 1. You guys are really hardcore Nick Brunson fans. And then 25% said they got it right. Number 4. I didn't put the names of the players because I kind of wanted you to do it yourself. The actual names was SGA, Luka, and Steph Curry. I disagree with Steph Curry. That's why I put him at the top 3. I think Luka and SGA are the only 2 guards I would put over Brunson. And that's guards, period. Not even just point guards. I'm saying all guards. For the Knicks to advance to the next level, must Jalen Brunson become the second option on this current squad? I'm going to say hell no. I wish I put an option for hell no. No. Brunson does not have to become the second option. In fact, I think quite the opposite. I think that Mike Brown helps elevate Jalen Brunson to a first-team level. If not the MVP, definitely to a first-team level. So I'm going to agree with the 74% of the 306 Knicks fans that said no. 24% said yes. Let me keep it pushing. Malik Beasley has been cleared of false allegations. Should the Knicks consider adding him to the team? Hell yes. 74% of the 307 votes agree. Hell yeah. Listen, man, I'm getting the best talent available. We could work out the depth chart later. And then the last question, which is tied to today's flagship topic, will Mike Brown's system elevate Jalen Brunson to first-team All-NBA status? I'm going to say yes. 75% of the 123 votes agree. You could vote for these right now in the post section of the channel or the community section of the channel. They're there and they'll be up quite a while. I don't ever, they're kind of evergreen. I mostly ask evergreen questions, right? I don't ask stuff that expires for the most part, unless we're in the season. So definitely go check it out, all right? But that's all I got for you guys on the word on the street. And I'm going to read some comments and be up out of here. Just Knicks says, if we go to the finals, I want to win. No. See, Just Knicks, we want to win the finals. We're saying finals are bust, not championship or bust. That's all, of course. And Darlene, I agree with you. I think it's Eastern Conference Finals. I say it depends on the Eastern Conference Finals, though. Depends on how that goes. Was it a valiant Game 7? You might have lost somebody in the last game, and that's why you lost. Maybe. But I really think that, for what Leon Rose is trying to do, I think the finals is going to really see where we are. Randall said with the Thunder, I think you're going to see a different team after this. Yeah, 100%. 100%. And that they could go 77-5. Hartenstein will not be an OKC Thunder next year. Chris Dad said, okay, cool, man. Listen, that's all I got for you guys. On the way out, I'm going to salute some people. I'm going to give a big time salute to Knicks Yak, who got #1 on the gamification. #2 is Randall, John Bryce, right? Darlene Bryan, who's not on the gamification, but I do just because I just want to remember to salute you, shout you out. Crim's Dad, #4 on the list. That guy, Crim's Dad, who made comment of the week once again. Salute to E. Gibson, #5. My man, Mellow Mike, I'm going to hit you up after this. #7, Creative Lou, right? #8, Latoria B in the house. On Dios, the Supermod. And of course, HRM, Knicks Tape Madness Discord server, channel member. My man, Mongo Slade, Laker fan in the house. #12. Darlene Bryan is in the top 12. Okay, old man Nick fan, salute. Just Knicks, once again, salute to you. I don't know how to say this other name. I'm just going to say the 3683. Salute to you. My man Sam was in the building. The only dude that's allowed to do conspiracy talk with me. Salute Dwayne Dennis. I see you. Wayne Peterson, the Wolf Perry, the New City Knicks, Kareem Grant, and Danny Lands, man. I want to give a big time salute to all you guys for rocking with me, man. Be on the lookout. I will be hooping tomorrow, so make sure you guys join the channel. You guys can check that out. If I can sneak in another show, I will. Call-up show this Friday. Make sure you guys are in the building. 10:45, 11:15, late night show. We rocking out. That's all I got for you guys today. And until next time, go Knicks.